Okay, so we're at video 4 of learning the inner peace process and applying them to these 25 issues. So we're on 16. I'm overly shy around people and struggle with having a voice. I believe no one wants to hear anything I have to say. Shyness is a form of fear and scared to be yourself. And it's also a permission and deserving issue, not feeling you have permission or that you deserve or not good enough, or you probably weren't ever encouraged to be yourself or have a voice. And so you haven't owned your voice yet. Um, if you need or want a voice, this fear, we have to deal with the fear. So the shyness, this not having a voice, no one wants to hear anything I have to say. When you tune into that, imagine yourself feeling it. Imagine yourself around people who don't listen to you, or remember the last time you felt it, and just see where it is in your body. Pause, stop for a minute, and just notice. Your body will communicate with you. You're not trying to sort of guess or force it or figure it out in your head. We're getting out of the head and into the subconscious, into the body. That's where the subconscious and the body, sort of meet. Because the subconscious mind, runs everything in the body. It tells us to move our hands and, tells the lungs to breathe and all these subconscious processes going on. It's like that with these unconscious programs that we have. Um, they manifest in the body. You can't trust your head because your head's got all this funky content, and it gets really twisted around because it's dominated by the inner critic, which is really the abuser's voice. So instead of being in the head, excuse me, we go into the body, into the somatic body, into the body mind, if you will. Okay, and you see where it is in your body, and you run it through the peace process. Once we get done with that whole peace process, the super part and all that, and coming together, the next step is then to future pace it out to the near future and activate your desired behavior. That's the exciting part and the next kind of step or stage. After you've run the negative charge through the peace process, now we're going to look at future pacing, and I'll talk more about that with each one. All right, so number 17, I won't let anyone see the bad side of me. So, wanting to be perfect, not being accepted for being human, not being able to make mistakes. I'm scared to let anyone see. Why? Because criticism, ridicule, abandonment, rejection, maybe getting the shit beat out of you. Who knows? So it's a program that gets triggered. But we have a deep need to be seen, to be heard, to be real, to make mistakes, to have an opportunity to learn from mistakes and be loved anyway. Make mistakes and still be wonderful. That's what's on the other side of this. So first we have to attend to that. So like shyness, hiding your true self is a result of never being allowed to be yourself. And again, you want to look for the feeling, the charge, how it makes you feel, etc. You want to find it in your body and all that. If you don't feel it right now, then skip it until you do. If you don't feel it right now, go to something that you do feel right now and run it through the peace process. Or if you want to work on it right now, make yourself feel it by imagining like the worst case scenario of everyone finding out all your hiding places, all your mistakes, all your real self you've been trying to hide. Kind of like agitate it a little bit until you feel it. Imagine everyone seeing you and and see how that makes you feel. Where do you feel the fear or anxiety in your body? And when you get to the left hand asking what it wants, it might say something like, I want to keep you safe. That's why I'm holding you back. So that's the intention. That's the goal. And our goal with doing the inner peace process is to get that goal accomplished. Don't smash it. Get the goal accomplished, but without the emotional charge, or at least the negative emotional charge, being triggered, without the bad feelings and reactions that usually hold you back, keep you stuck in hiding and isolation, etc. So when you get to the new super part and checking in with yourself now, let's imagine you did the whole inner peace process, you're at the super part, checking in with yourself now compared to how you first felt it. That's, and if you definitely feel a difference, like 10 minutes ago, I was all twisted up about this. Right now, I'm feeling, peaceful and calm, and like it's just not bothering me, or it feels like it's far away, or it feels like it's in the past, something like that. Um, then that's when you ask your new super part the future pacing questions. And there are two of them. So before I get to those two questions, let's go on to the next one. My whole childhood was emotional abuse. It is extremely hard for me to accept I have people in my life who actually care about me. That's the worst one. I am nothing to myself, so why would I matter to others? I should do a whole nother video on, the personality type that's typically the empath, introvert, depressed artist archetype, so to speak. You'll see things like perfect and matter. These words are very interesting when it comes to talking about the personality type, because this type likes everything perfect. That's why we're so in tune to what's missing. That's why we're always sort of seeing what's wrong or missing, and maybe even complaining a little bit, because we're looking for perfection. We're true artists at heart, and we want that perfect masterpiece. And then matter is an interesting thing too, because we're very attuned to meaning. And if there's no meaning and it doesn't matter, that's where problems come in. We're also really good at letting go of things. If it doesn't matter anymore and we're done, like we're done, we can just completely push that off to the back burner, move on with our life, and never even give it another thought. But when we have the twisted pattern of thinking that's how other people feel about us, that's devastating. That's like, terrorizing, really, to feel that if we don't matter, we're just going to be pushed off. And then, I don't have any meaning. So there's a lot of interesting things that you can run the inner peace process with on these types of things too. Deep feelings, feelings aren't facts, matter and meaning, seeing what's wrong, what's missing, and feeling very unique and different. That's another aspect of the artist introvert, but I digress. All right, so after a 19, actually, I don't think I read 18. I just see I've got a bunch of stuff I wrote on 18. Let's go up to 18. Got 5 minutes left. All right, 18. I constantly think I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. I was told this all my childhood. I've gone back to university to prove to myself that I'm smart enough. Oh, yes, we're very, very smart, also artistic and smart. Whether it's smart artistically or smart like scientifically or whatever. And we're people smart. But it's always there in the back of my mind like a poison, reminding me I'm not good enough, not smart enough. So to be enough actually feels like average, and we don't like feeling average. We know there's something special about us, so there's kind of a catch 22 there. But anyway, Feeling not good enough is a very common issue for people who grew up in toxic family systems. Just feel that feeling, I'm not good enough. You're not good enough. And as you pause to go within to feel that, notice where you feel it in your body. Remember, that's our number one question, to tune in. We identify the problem, we tune into it. We see where it is in the body. That's always the first step. You might be used to that question by now, which is good for whenever you have a trigger or emotional reaction that comes up. That should be the first question you ask yourself. Okay, now once you get the answer to it, you run it through the inner peace process. And when you get to the future pacing questions, you're going to ask your new super part, okay, now that we've resolved this problem and come together and form the super part, so now that we've resolved this issue, what's the first thing you want to do? And just pause, be quiet, notice what comes up. Write it down, whatever it is. But make sure you tease out exactly the thing you want to do so that you could write it in your calendar like a task, okay? Make sure it's very specific and not too vague. When you say, what's the first thing you want to do, you don't want to say something like, well, I want to be loved. Okay, you want to say something more like, I want to work on my self-esteem. Something specific you could put in your calendar you could do for an hour, a task. Okay, so just pause, notice what comes up, write down whatever it is, make sure it's not too vague. And then, can you see yourself doing it today, later today, or tomorrow, or maybe in the near future? And can you see yourself uh, finishing it, accomplishing it in the near future? If not, then go back to making it easy enough that it's a really easy task you actually could do tomorrow, because I need you to see yourself doing it and accomplishing it in the very near future. Okay? And then, so maybe let's just end here. We've got that first thing. What's the first thing you want to do, and make it really specific, and you want to write it down because it's something that you're going to not only do, but by now you sort of have an urge to do. You have a little excited feeling because I didn't tell you what to do. It came from within you. It came from as a result of your resource states helping the part of you that was generating the issue, the programmed problem. And now we're at a point where, wow, we can resolve it, we can change it, we can transform it, we can start moving forward. So, what's the first thing I want to do? And when you pause and let it come up, it's usually right on the money. You're not trying to think this again in your conscious mind, it just sort of bubbles up within you and you hear it, you get it, you get a sense of it. And that's a really very, very extremely important skill to start developing. Asking yourself what you want to do, and then see what comes up. Asking yourself what you need, and see what comes up. Follow what it says. Honor it. Do what it says. All right, so we'll pick up on the next video with the next 5, and we'll get into talking about the next question, the question number 2 for future pacing.